of. Alright, so this is my tarp setup. That's my view. Pretty awesome. The sun is just coming up. And this has actually been my most successful tarp setup yet. I'm sorry. Here I am. My most successful tarp setup yet in terms of headspace and just overall space, headspace and foot space and everything. It's really, you can see my feet there. Obviously it's not right down to the ground, as you can see. But that didn't bother me because there's no chance of rain. And I'm a little bit protected from the wind, but I wasn't actually as protected as I had hoped. So I still didn't get any sleep last night because, again, as soon as the wind came through, it really had me anxious about the tarp. The tarp is nice and snug, but again, there's a very slight breeze now. But I'm thinking more about further into the desert, the wind is going to be much worse. And so last night, as I was watching the wind and kind of freaking out again, I'm almost thinking that I may just have to ditch the tarp and cowboy camp, which may not be such a bad idea, but certainly will let me sleep better because the tarp just freaks me out anytime I hear the wind go through it. So it may be fine. Like last night, it was fine, but I have to think about this. But right now, it's a big problem because I didn't get any sleep last night, and I did watch the stars through my opening there, which was kind of cool. But there's a very steep climb right at the beginning of today's hike. Short, but very steep, involving metal rungs and stuff. And I'm not going to be the only one on the trail, but because these guys who were here last night are also going to be there, but I don't know if they're going to be ahead of me or behind me. They did say something about going to Massada, to the top of Massada to watch the sunrise, so I'm not planning to do that, so maybe they'll be coming behind me, which would be nice to know that that somebody's coming behind me if I run into trouble, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, my pack is open. I didn't leave it open, but I didn't hear anybody. Oh boy. Okay, so what happened, one of the other hikers last night said he saw a fox. So whatever it was that took my sock was probably that fox. He didn't think they'd be that bold, but apparently yes. And it had chewed a hole into my hip belt to get out my little peanut thingies. So, okay, now I have to check and see what further damage has been done, because I doubt it, because I didn't hear anything last night. But now I'm worried because I definitely see that my pack is open. And I don't think I left it like that. Okay, it looks like, I think, I left my back open last night, which was really dumb. Anyways, as far as I can tell, nothing's gotten to it. I didn't hear anything, so I think we're good. I did just see down over that hill, which is much closer than it looks, just on top of the ridge, I saw something just run across that looked very much like what I saw running away from my campsite last night. So that means I can't really leave anything here alone, unattended, to like go to the washroom or anything, which is kind of a bummer. Well, I see the other hikers just taking off in the distance, and I don't know what their plans are. I don't know. One of them needs to get back into town to get to work, so I don't know if they've changed their plans or if they're still planning to go up to Massada, which is over there. You can see the Roman ramp there, right there. Yeah, so the sun is just coming up. And I gotta break camp and get on the road, or on the Shvil, as soon as I can. But also go to the washroom and hopefully not get my food stolen while I do that. Okay, wish me luck. There's the little holes that the apparently fox dug into my bag. And I didn't realize one of the hip pockets, this one, is mesh, and this one over here is actually like the regular backpack material. So this one was easy for it to smell the peanuts through, and they were like maybe a candied kind of peanuts a little bit, so they definitely were attractant, and easy for it to dig through. Certainly much easier probably than the rest of this pack. So I'm glad I caught it in time, but this leaves me with a challenge. The holes are pretty small, but I still don't want anything falling through that or for the holes to get any bigger. So I'm not sure what I can keep in that pocket now. But anyways, I'm glad I saved myself from a further disaster, so my timing was perfect to come back. All right, everybody, even the kids, everybody's up. I guess they're going up to Massada, and I gotta get moving. So, gotta get organized. David, I think that's a triste ramit for you. Let me see if I can get closer. Oh, no. Okay, 5 to 7 and I'm almost ready to take off. I have no words. It just doesn't seem to get any better. Alright, well, gotta keep trying, and today in any case I have an exit strategy, so that's at least good. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, gotta go, gotta move. Alright, it's 10 past 7 and I'm finally on the road, and I can see over on the Roman ramp my I'm assuming it's my hiker buddies are already on their way down from Massada. Ah, boy. Well, it is what it is, and it just took me some time to get going, because it does. I woke up not long after them, but breaking down camp took more time. And most of them, I think only one of them had a tent. The rest of them were cowboy camping. So that's nice and easy to break camp that way. So maybe the cowboy camping isn't such a bad idea. And I noticed last night that my tarp was not wet. So one of the reasons I've been using the tarp is, in addition to shelter and privacy, has been to avoid getting wet from the dew in the morning. But maybe that's not an issue in the desert as much as it was up north. Hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. I might try that. But tonight, well, today we're headed from Massada to Ein Bokek. And Ein Bokek is a resort town on the Dead Sea, full of fancy luxury hotels, including a couple of night camps. But there might just be a little spoiling in store for me tonight. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I'll decide along the way, see how I feel. Anyways, I think my guys are gonna get ahead of me, which I'm not happy about. Yeah, so there we go. Oh, I didn't explain Massada. I'll explain it more in the video when we do a full video on it when I go visit the top. But Massada was King Herod's, I think, summer palace during his time. And then after that, it became kind of the last stronghold for the Jewish rebels after the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and the temple. And the Romans laid siege to it for 3 years and finally managed to breach the walls, at which time the Jewish rebels had to decide whether they were going to leave themselves in the hands of the Romans or to be killed, or whether they would die at their own hands. And then they committed mass suicide just to avoid being caught and killed by the Romans. So it's a very significant site for Jews and Israelis in terms of their history and survival. And lots of school groups come, well, I think all school groups come here at some point or another. And a lot of the military recruits, when they swear their oath, or whatever they do when they get drafted into the military, a lot of them will come here for their initiation ceremonies. So it's very significant. It's an amazing archaeological site. Very cool place to visit. Highly recommend it. And now I have to find the Shvil, because I'm now at the trailhead. So, excuse me while I go look for the Shvil. And so that's Massada beside me. And that down there is Mount Eleazar, or Eleazar, or whatever. And that is where I have to climb in about 1 kilometer's worth. And not looking forward to that. That's going to be interesting. But if I didn't have my pack, it would not be a problem. But with my pack, it's going to be an extra challenge. So, anyways, yet again, wish me luck. So this is the Shvil, and that is what's right beside the Shvil. Can't see much of that because of the shadows, but you can definitely see that. Sort of. Yeah, sorry, and going into the sun here, so the exposure is a little bad. But, yeah, it looks like that is what I'm going to climb up. Oh boy. So, I'm going to stop and grab some kind of snack before I do that, because I don't want to do that without something in my system. And, wow, I'm definitely going to need some luck for that. Oh, but look at that view. You can't really see it so well on the camera because of the sun and the morning haze, but that's the Dead Sea, and behind it, the mountains of Jordan. And it's gorgeous. So I'm going to try to keep that view in mind. Oh, and you can see the cable car going up. You see that right down there? So I'm going to try to keep that view in mind as I climb that unbelievable ascent. But first, I gotta get up partway and, well, actually, I don't know if I can take a break up there. Maybe I need to take my break down here.
It really just looks like one big gigantic rock slide. So, I don't know. But the trail goes up there, it's marked. So I guess it's meant to be. But I love this view, and there's the other cable car going down, and you can see the highway from En Gedi to Eilat, or actually it goes all the way up to Jerusalem to Eilat. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And actually, with the view, I think this is the perfect spot for a break, now that I think about it. Okay, I've had a break. It's time to go. Time to hit this challenge. And one thing I was reminded of yesterday was that when I'm climbing something like this, I have to flip my floppy hat up or I can't see where I'm going. So, oh boy, let's do this thing. I made it. Wow, that was hard, but maybe not quite as hard as I thought it was going to be. But just a word for the wise when you're here. Be really, really super careful, because I grabbed what I thought was a really secure handhold. I thought it was like part of the boulder bedrock, and tried to pull my weight up, and well, my back weight, and it just crumbled. Just a rock just fell off under my hand. So be super, super careful. Don't trust anything when you're going down this ascent. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. It's Mount El-Azhar, and I would not want to be going down this, like south to north. A lot easier to climb, I'm telling you that. Okay, so, and two guys way down there powered by me while I was going up. So, not super happy about that, but again, I have to keep reminding myself that these kids are half my age, and one of the guys told me that his pack was probably, I think he said 20 kilos or something like that, and he said that was like, okay, I want to say a quarter, but probably more accurate to say a half of what he used to have to carry in the military only a couple of years ago. So trying to keep that in mind. These guys are crazy fit. Now, having said that, my group of 8 were also doing much better than me, and they're all older than me, but they had day packs, and they were guys, and not as little as me, so trying once again to give myself a little bit of grace. But this is absolutely crazy, fantabulous, and I don't want to fall down. Actually, here's the thing. I'm not afraid of heights so much as I am, like I said before, falling down. But the one thing that drives me crazy, maybe from before, but certainly from the day that I sat clinging to the cliffside over in En Gedi, is wind. Wind just freaks me right out. Whether it's at night with my tarp or during the daytime climbing up a cliff face, wind just scares the jeebers out of me. But anyways, I gotta keep going, so talk to you again soon. Oh, and yeah, halfway up that cliff face, look what I found. So people, please don't leave your trash out here. There's signs everywhere that say that your trash can injure the wild animals. And if anything can injure wild animals, this certainly can. So now, I didn't want to, but I'm packing it out. And it might, well, I was thinking on the climb up, I was thinking it could injure wild animals, but it could kill me because I didn't have my hands free. But Yeah, anyways, I have to try and understand which way the trail here goes because I thought I need to follow the black trail, but the Shvil symbol is down there. So, got to figure this out. It's just everywhere you look here. It's just an unbelievable, stunning view. And yes, it is like walking on the moon. You can see those rocks there, but at least there's a slight bit of a path through them here. Unlike some of those other places where the trail sort of goes right through the rock field. And you really have to watch your step. I mean, you have to watch your step here too, but not the same way. I can make much better time on this. The other thing I wanted to mention the other day, which I forgot to mention, was kind of funny. So now that I'm in the desert, I've traded my cow patties for camel pellets. Haven't seen much today. I've seen some other pellets today, but the last 2 days, the way the north was littered with cow patties, the desert was littered with camel pellets. So yeah, you have to watch your step. The other thing that I've done, since water is so crazy important out here, and since I seem to have trouble remembering to drink, I've started playing a sort of a drinking game with myself. And anytime I either hear or think of a word that has anything to do with the intake or the outtake, that's not a word. Well, it's a word, but it doesn't mean what I'm trying to say. But anyways, you know what I mean. Of water, I take a drink. Or if I see my hose and notice it, I don't always notice it. It doesn't always sort of register in my brain. But if I see it and I notice it, I have to take a drink. So this actually helped me yesterday. I did empty my platypus. Or if you want me to put it another way, I emptied my bladder. But that's not what I mean. So, and that's 2 liters of water. So that's pretty good, especially considering that it was a short day yesterday. We didn't do the whole thing. And the water recommendations are for drinking water and for cooking water and washing. So I think my little drinking game is helping me keep on track with my water, because I think that was pretty good. The other thing the guys tried to do yesterday, I gotta tell you this is funny. From the moment that I met them, those guys, they could not stop talking for a moment. So on one of our breaks up there, you will have noticed the quiet video that I took of the Dead Sea. One of the guys issued a challenge to see if we can go for a minute without talking, without making any noise, and just listening to the quiet of the desert. Needless to say, we didn't do too well, but even now I wanted to just stop and listen to the quiet of the desert, but just on the other side of this mountain is that highway that I pointed out, so I'm not sure that I get the quiet of the desert in any event, but I'm going to try and see if I can give you even a slightest bit of a feel. just look at that. I just can't get tired of these amazing views. And that's up ahead of me. I'm headed that direction. Oh, just so splendid. And of course, it's just probably because we don't have these at home. But it's so amazing. And then a lot of the rest of the desert part, I think, is going to be fairly flat. Much less of these mountains and canyons. But there is some climbing. There's the large crater and the small crater, Maktesh Katan and Maktesh Gadol, I think, or Maktesh Ramon or something. Yehoram Maktesh. I think somebody told me they just changed its name. So, those will probably have a little less interesting views of the flat areas around them, but I think the craters are supposed to be pretty interesting, so can't wait to see that. So I'm going down the mountainside a little bit now. It's not a very steep slope, so that's kind of nice. I don't think my knees can handle much more of the kind of downhill we did yesterday. So after this, I think most of the rest of the way is going to be pretty flat. I'm headed down towards the edge of the Dead Sea, and a good part of the Shvil goes either very close to or right along the highway. So I'd like to try to hike as far as I can and hopefully hike all the way to Ein Bokek. But we'll have to see how well I last in the conditions, and I've been looking for a bit of shade to take a break for the last 20 minutes. And there is none. But down there are some bushes. So maybe I can take a break under one of them. That would be really so much nicer than having to take a break up here, and even using the umbrella just won't be so useful. But I think I'm actually going to try the umbrella today and see if it helps down here, since it is actually much drier and the conditions are much more manageable here than they were a month ago up north. Just rounded another corner and look at that view. Those are some of the, I guess, Dead Sea salt pools or canals or something. Not a view that you'll see anywhere else on the Shvil. So now I have to come down this mountain. It's not super bad, but it is very slippery. The rocks are very precarious and dangerous. Kind of back to reminding me of Mount Hermon. And you gotta go slow, and my knees are feeling it. But I'm almost done, and it is on switchbacks, so it goes back and forth. It's not straight down, fortunately. But it's all this kind of thing that just slows you down, and I don't know. The guys I was with yesterday, some of them just charged down this stuff, and I'm just not prepared to do that, so maybe that's why I'm so slow. Well, I have to ask myself if that's some sort of mirage or something, but I see Ein Bokek. That's how far I have to walk. You can see it through the haze, maybe. I can't really point it out because my umbrella is going to fly if I do. But it's over there in the haze. You can see the buildings of the hotels on the shore. Finally some hope. But right now I need some shade for a rest because I'm kind of at that point of the middle of the day. It's actually shortened from a month ago or even 2 weeks ago, the time period that I really need to take a rest for that I can't hike in. But it's definitely still there. Let's see if I can do this without losing my umbrella. Okay, so right over there, if this thing is showing it right, through the haze, is the resort town of, Dead Sea resort town of Ein Bokek, which is where I'm headed. And I can't wait